Balls.
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
that's this party.
Where we last left off, our traveling troupe of adventurers found themselves entering the Feywild with the help of Bow Mother Galena. Um, as they traversed this wide open field of flowers, or Gonora, sorry, not Galena, um, wide open field of flowers, Eden was surprised by a group of dark entities from the gray lands, the graying, where the fringe of the different Feywild courts meets and offer a neutral, kind of habitable zone for those who don't offer allegiance to one court or another. Um, they chased Eden and Corvus, or followed them and ambushed the party, who quickly dispatched them before running into another Fey, the Dandelion, a creature of the field who asked of the party's intention, guiding them to his home, and then eventually to Oak's former home. There, Oak learned of her sister and her mentor, Owlbear, who had entered the Feywild only a few days before and now is journeying to the Winter Court, seeking a cure for Oak's lost sister. Now, where we're picking up, the party is heading to sleep or to some sort of rest. But before they do, they're journeying through the lands in which Oak had called home for many years prior to her fostering by Owlbear. And where we will pick up is you entering the tree home where your room once resided. As you walk up the stairs, you can see pictures or small drawings that you drew in your youth. But as you reach the door, you see small placards, one with your name on it, one labeled with your sister's, and another you see further down says says apple on it. But as you open the door, what does the party see, Oak, in your room?
So, and just to double check, so Apple's still living there by herself?
It seems like you're not quite sure unless you go there. There's definitely a placard. It looks like almost they're preserved in time, if anything. But as you
Okay.
open your door, it's as if you never left, for you at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what you see like a couple stacks of like bunk sort of carved into the wall. Um, and inside it's of course all very natural wood finish. Um, there are some slates. I think there are like probably some very old dried flowers that are still like strung in garlands, or maybe there's magic preserving them. Um, I think you maybe could like see some slates, like there's like little desks to work on, and there's like some chalk slates where maybe there's still something written or doodled on there. Um, Probably, I imagine books are pretty hard to come by in the Feywild, but I think maybe there's like something they were learning from.
You would have had a book or two that were donated from the
Mhm.
from the Swan Ladies when they came, but not very many. You're right.
Yeah.
Um, but as you all enter, see the space. Um, the one thing you notice, Orchid or Oak, shit, is
We're all good.
that
We're good.
there looks to be a small arrangement of flowers on your bed that looks relatively fresher. While everything in this space seems fresh and preserved, these flowers seem almost as if they were newly picked.
What kind of flowers?
A combination of like lilies and tulips, mainly.
Huh. Well, looks like things haven't changed very much. Weird. I like Oak starts walking around and like picking things up and being like, "Oh man, yeah, yeah, I remember drawing this. That was so long ago." And then starts.
Eden is also going to be poking around, but being like very quiet and kind of like a growing look of disappointment as like they go through. Um, and then like kind of will eventually just kind of stop like holding like just like any kind of like childish like if it's a drawing, anything like fun, like Eden will just kind of stop, pause, and like look down at it for a little while.
Are you doing it? Are you trying to do it more secretively, or are you like you being very very open about it?
I think it's not like super secretive, but like Eden's definitely not trying to like make a scene of it. It's just kind of like, oh, look at this over here. But then like because of emotions, like Eden's this is gonna surprise you. Eden's not good at hiding those. So like we're trying to be subtle a bit, but it's just not like if I'm honest, it's just not working. Um we're
Yeah,
on our
I think Oak is like so wrapped up in what's going on that she's not like picked it up. I think at one point she just like picks something up and like shows it to you. Can you believe they made me do needlework? And then you like see some like kind of bad embroidery. Although it did get better at it. I mean, and then she like points at her cloak where she had done some embroidery.
I studied needlework too. It's
Oh,
not that
really?
kind of.
Aaron snickers real loud at that because he knows exactly what Eden's trying to get at.
I
I
tried working with needles once. It didn't work out so well.
No, not
I,
for
I
them
still have the
anyways.
pinpricks to prove it.
why is Perrin laughing? Perrin, why are you laughing?
Oh, it's just a different kind of perspective. The needlework, it serves a different purpose, I would assume, right, Eden? Yeah.
Yes, ours
Hmm.
was different.
Well, there are multiple applications for needles, not just for, crafty projects like this.
Some of it was crafting, but yeah,
Like sewing clothes?
not exactly. Did you? So you got to do all of these things?
Yeah, they found ways to keep us busy, either mending clothes or embroidering. They tried to teach us to write one of the dryads. It was it was an interesting time,
But it was fun.
I guess. Um, we certainly found ways to have fun. I would run away from lessons and like climb up trees when I didn't want to go.
Me
That's how
too.
I got called orchid. And Ivy, we were always climbing trees.
It was just me most of the time. But now I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So those, you had like school, or like what did you learn?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is just sort of basic stuff. Like either we'd help learn how to like, make the colony run. We'd help with chores. Sometimes we'd do cooking. Sometimes we'd like do mending. Most of the food's sort of provided for us here, so we didn't have to like farm or anything. And so in downtime they'd teach us stuff.
Um, so you don't know how long you were here,
Uh,
or
no, I don't. I guess not really. I think my best guess is I was around like 12 or 13 when I left, because pretty soon afterwards it was like puberty, but like, man, it's awkward, new place, new language, and then suddenly puberty. We don't need to talk about that though.
pubert? What pubert?
Oh, like when you go from being a kid to being a grown-up and your body changes. Don't tell me you didn't have to go through puberty. That's so unfair. That's monumentally unfair if you did not have to go through here.
I just don't remember it. It's been a long time, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really allowed to dwell on those things.
Fair enough. Fair
It was
enough. I'm suddenly
considered
remembering other things you told me. Maybe that's a small nitpick thing, really.
that was considered a weakness to dwell on stuff like that. So we didn't.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, I don't have memories before I came here.
So you don't know how you got here or like why either?
No, I mean, I can just sort of guess because like the usual story is either somebody got lost, like wandered in the forest through the wrong place and ended up in the Feywild, or sometimes, they make the deal like that firstborn deal, but then they don't want to deal with them, so they leave them here.
Oh,
Did you bring anything in with you?
I don't think so. I don't even have a name. They gave me my name. Which, by the way, I just asked for a new name, and my new name's gonna be Oak instead of Orchid.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Picture Finn blushing, going, "Oh my god, it's such a strong name."
Mhm.
Okay,
welcome.
well, it'll be Oak then.
I like it. It's fitting.
Thanks. I think it feels much, much better. I'll have to repaint the shield, which has like a bunch of orchids around it.
You could always work it in together. Corvus is actually pretty good at painting. They did painting waves on one of Finn's crossbows.
Oh, really?
This Corvus like hears his name is maintaining this, looking around, almost ignoring the conversation, but also obviously listening.
Well, as usual, Corvus is acknowledging this gift.
Well,
Sits.
I don't know about anything, long-standing or anything, but can I see that shield for a second?
Her? She hesitates for only a moment before handing it over.
Now, if you don't like this, then we can always change it later. But let's see here. And Art's gonna reach into his pocket and pull out his tinker tools along with a piece of the carcass of one of the bugs that we fought earlier, and is gonna start crunching and splotching and mashing it into a paste, and then smears it onto the front of the shield and uses his tinker tools to adjust the shape and suss everything out until there's a very rough image that kind of looks like a tree.
Thanks, Art. That's very thoughtful of you.
It's not my best work. It's a rush job, but if you give me an actual design to go off of, I might be able to do something a little bit more proficient. But it should hold for now.
Well, we'll have to think about it. I mean, anyway, it's a shield. It'll get banged up, so doesn't need to be perfect.
And just for not Cora's asking, but for, is it a mostly wooden shield with metal components, or like is it a full metal shield?
I think it's a wood shield with metal components. Like I think,
Or
no,
like a trim and the center bolt kind of thing, like a classic wooden shield.
Like what does my art look like again?
That's what I was just looking at.
Like,
Your art does not have the full profile of the shield. No, I would say because of the low usage of like the lack of use of metal and things normally in Kabul, it probably has some iron boss work, but not a ton. It's mostly wood and then like reinforced bark.
yeah, I imagine maybe there's like rivets or something, but
Yeah, like I mean they have to put it all together somehow, so they'll use like nails and stuff for that. But yeah.
Yeah, with like that kind of part of the conversation, Corvus, is there like a seemingly private, not private, but an area that one can sit in the corner, like a reading style space?
I kind of picture this room as like a big circle. I mean, maybe there's like a privy, but
Big circle.
yeah.
Corvus finds the corner in a circle.
Hmm.
And we'll just kind of take out one of his like emptied journals. Is one of the ones that he's recently had that hasn't been filled in, and starts like messing with loose parchment
You know,
that he
at
has.
one of the bottom bunks, like they did the thing where they like hung like a blanket over it so that it's like a private nook.
Yeah, Corvus just kind of is like, yeah, I'm gonna find that space, and we'll kind of be pulling out parchment and doing some form of work with that.
Perfect.
Oak,
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Are you comfortable with us staying in this room with you? I don't want to. I know this is probably lots of memories, and I don't want us to impede or disturb anything you don't want moved.
Oh, no, it's okay. I honestly surprised it's still as preserved as it is. It's a room that's meant to be used. It's fine.
Okay. And we'll just kind of squat on the floor somewhere and just sit there.
The one thing you've noticed since you've been here, since you've been in the Feywild in general, the sun doesn't really set here. It just kind of goes from being this kind of like the bright, typical, like sunny blue sky kind of day to this soft kind of reds and oranges and purples where the sun would be as if it was setting. But then it just stays there and it doesn't ever shift to the dark of night.
Oh, Scandinavian summers.
I was just about to say, I was like, it's Scandinavian in the summer solstice. Yeah.
Is question, was it that way in the Grove?
No, yours was like. Yours was a typical day and night, but the night was longer. Like
Yeah,
you
okay.
probably had for every 8 hours of day, you probably had. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably 8 and 16, something like
Okay.
that.
I was like, I'm pretty sure we had awful night, but yeah, okay.
Scandinavian autumn.
Yeah, your nights were long.
Yeah, I'm surprised the spring court is also all day. As opposed to.
What time is it? Anyway, it is like night.
But it was
I mean,
sunsetty, right? When we.
Yeah, as you guys got there, it was beginning to approach. Like the sky was starting to turn those colors, and then as you guys have settled into Oak's room, it has now gone to where like the sky and the horizon almost looks completely, this mash of purples and reds and oranges.
So just a reminder to clarify, it was dark when we came here. Like it was.
No.
It was becoming night when we came here.
It was like daytime. Like it was like
Left.
daytime turning into night. Yeah, when you guys arrived here, it was starting to turn night.
So we were like late afternoon.
Probably like mid.
Okay,
now.
I'm gonna say this once and once only. There is no time in the Feywild. So don't ask
Time
me
is-
what time it is because
No,
time is a
not-
weird
no,
soup
I meant,
as one of my
like, on our scale of how long have we been awake?
On your
Yes,
scale
yes.
on the scale of how long have you been awake, you guys are approaching the need for rest.
Okay, that's
Well, I also ask because I wonder if Art might actually know the exact number of hours that we've been here since we left.
Okay, so you have Keen Mind. However, Keen Mind only works in.
Directional.
Yeah,
I'm
is
not
it? I thought it was. Oh yeah, no, it is only directional. No, it's
Is it-
time too.
is it
No,
not?
It's not. It's
Is it-
not just directional.
You
I
can
do
track
always know
time,
which way is
direction, and
north.
detail of uncanny positions. You always know the number of hours left before the next sunrise and sunset, but also recall anything you've seen or heard in the past month.
Okay, go
So,
ahead.
like-
How
There's
about
a lot
this?
of things I know.
Art, go ahead and give me a Arcana check with disadvantage. This is how we're going to resolve this.
Yes, Lord.
With the first
The
roll
lower
of the
roll
night.
was a 19.
The fuck. You feel confident that it's been approximately going on like 8.5, 9 hours since you guys have woke up this morning. You haven't quite figured out the timing of which the sun rises, the sun sets here in the Feywild, because you haven't, to your knowledge, been here what would be a full day. But the longer that you're here, the more likely it is that you'll be able to learn the somewhat pattern that there is of the Feywild.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that I would know precisely, like, you know, what time it is here or anything, but I would imagine that I would know how much time. I imagine I would have been counting, like, minutes and hours and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, I want to hear the inside of Art's brain now. If it's
No,
counting
you
the
don't.
minutes and hours.
really don't want
That's
the
not all
inside
that's
Art's
counting.
brain.
That's not all that's happening. It's the minutes, the hours, and then every other idea that Art has. I love it.
Look, the inside of Art's brain is like a, you know, Chrome with 48
soup.
tabs open and sound is coming from 2 of them and I have no idea which one.
To the point of measuring
but-
time and stuff, I have like the wildest question of clarity. Is it normal for someone to know the current length or duration remaining of a spell that they cast?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need moving forward.
But wait, you don't cast spells, so you wouldn't know that.
I have one cantrip that lasts for 1 hour, which
fuck.
means
Yeah, you're
cyclically
right.
speaking, I can track if I cast it continuously, since it's my only spell, I can know each hour that passes moving forward.
I hate you.
There we go.
More specifically, I have ball bearings.
Guys-
And if I have a cycle of 24 of them, every hour, if I move it from one pocket to the other, I can track exactly what hour of the day we're in based on how long my spells last using 24 ball bearings.
Guys, I just didn't want to have to keep track of time, and now you guys are forcing me to. Fine.
I'm
I
not
guess.
forcing anything.
I'm gonna
It's
do it.
not that it fully
No.
matters, but in case
Um,
we need to keep track of events.
Yeah, no, in case you got to keep track of events, 100%. Yeah, no, I get you. I feel you. Cool. But yeah. The sun is now setting. It's getting this kind of deep, like almost like burgundy, maroony. You can see people around. Yeah, like that color. There you go. Yeah. You can start seeing some of the other tree folk moving about and eventually gathering into one kind of collective grove before becoming almost inert and standing motionless. You see some people just waking up and moving about using this softer light to go about their business. But the vast majority of this glade is empty. People going to their homes and tucking in for the night.
Fascinating. I understand that time works differently here, but we don't have any sort of visual phenomenon to follow quite the same way that we do back home. I know it's been precisely 8 to 9 hours since we woke up this morning, but beyond that, it's going to be a lot more difficult to try to actually calculate time here.
I think Eden will have like legitimately fallen asleep holding Grim, like just like sitting there and is like leaned up against like a wall or chair, just like holding the poor little ferret.
Sorry, just question for you, Art, and anyone else who cares to think on this any deeper. Well, what's the fucking point?
Well, you know, always good to keep track of time, right?
But like we're here, and like unless we're like out trying to keep like a regimented sleep schedule, tracking the time seems to be a bit, I don't know, kind of superfluous.
Well, if we ever decide that we're going to have to go in different directions and we agree to meet up at a certain point in time, it'd be good to be able to actually calculate that, wouldn't it?
Sure, but I mean, only vaguely, because if it passes differently here, then like the way that we calculate hours is different than like it just seems a bit like we're jumping off a deep end that maybe isn't going to make any sense.
Understanding the passage of time, particularly with the interests of those that reside within a location, allows us to track the habits and behaviors. Wherever we're going, presumably they need rest. And if we understand how the passage of time, we understand guard patrols, we understand in which people recover, it's more so to, in a sense, gather our bearings. And Corvus, while saying that, like partially like maneuver some of the ball bearings into the pouches of the clock to keep like track of them, as a visual joke, with a small smirk doing so while getting these like multiple bags of 20 ball bearing pouches.
Right,
So
right.
you're
Yeah, Corvus has it.
So you're telling me that you're going to spend more time with your ball bag than actually, or at least that's what you're going to be subconsciously doing, is playing with your ball bag.
In a sense. And if I can understand the passage of time, we can coordinate, then I should be able to make a rudimentary application that allows me to use the ball bearings, that we can all measure time together.
And to that
You're
note,
all
if
being
it's too
very
much trouble-
loud.
If it's too much trouble for Corvus to be able to keep track of the ball bearing on their own, then that's something that I can do. I'm very good at multitasking.
So
Are
you're
you
going to
all
watch
gonna
him.
sleep? I mean, I know you don't have to sleep, but like, doesn't it mess with your rest if you have to keep a cantrip up through?
Yeah.
It isn't something I need to focus on. However, it does need to be utilized hourly, but it allowed me to gauge the difference in time between here and what I am familiar with.
But what you're
Yeah.
familiar with is of no importance in this place, Corvus. The sooner you accept this, much happier you'll be here. Now, can we go to sleep?
And like this is where like a parent will just like go and stand beside Eden because her sitting is him standing, and so he just kind of like puts his shoulder like where her head would go, and he just kind of stands there. He's just like, listen, she's got a fucking point, mate. Like we should probably lay down and have a nap, at least for a little while, and maybe you could consider just not worrying so much about like the ticking clock, because we're all gonna fucking die eventually, mate. Just keeping track of it just feels like it's gonna happen faster.
I will tell you something that was told to me that has echoed through my mind many times over the last years. Just let it all go. None of it matters here. Breathe it in, and just be present. Nothing will save you from this reality. Good night. Yes? Okay.
None of it matters.
And then
Smile anyway.
Eden will like curl up further into a little ball with Grim.
As you're
Infinite
curling up, you just hear a
lives.
little a little just like as the air is being pushed out of Grim.
We'll move Grim to like where Grim is like right here.
And
Scritches.
Corvus will return back to the parchments. Kind of countless lives makes time matter differently.
I think meanwhile, like Orchid is just staring out the window and being like, man, I forgot how hard, I can't believe I forgot like the sun didn't set and how scary it was the first time I had to experience real night. And like, she's just having this whole internal monologue while all of this is going on in the background.
Give me a perception check.
Me?
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
All right. That's not bad. That is a 15 total.
Okay. I'll message you here in a second.
And seeing everyone else starting to lie down and get ready for sleep, Art is going to not do that and is going to look out the window as well and start just taking in all the details of everything that he can see and trying to see if he can ascertain or calculate how the various shifts work in this realm. Art's gonna try and see if he can actually calculate some sort of way to tell time here.
Little buddy. I think Orchid is like too jazzed to like go rest. Oh, guys, I can't go to sleep. You guys can stay here. I'm gonna go out for a walk, and then she like walks back out the front door.
Oh, are you going exploring? And Art's gonna
You gonna follow me?
stumble along and follow you, face deep in Notepad while like basically looking and walking at the same time.
Okay. I walk towards the treekin that I saw.
Now, for you, it seems like it was like far off on the horizon, but as you leave your home and you begin to make your way in the direction that you generally saw it, in a matter of what seems like minutes, this creature is upon you, standing far taller than any of the normal Ents that you've seen within the glade, almost resembling Minthable in a way, yet
Was this
grander
Wildcat?
and grander and taller than even it. You would recognize this somewhat as Relkath of the Infinite Branches, making his way toward the grove.
Are you're still tagging along with me? You've
Yeah.
met Wildcat
Oh.
before, right?
Have I?
Art,
No?
you did not. This was when you were getting. You got really drunk when they met
Yes,
Relkath.
yes, that's right.
Ah.
I was in the middle of a very naked swim. I remember this.
And as you continue to approach Relkath and Relkath continues to approach you, slowly the branches begin to almost shrivel, not necessarily shrivel, but coalesce, come into one, and the Ent starts to slowly shrink and shrink and shrink
Oh.
until you're met with this older looking elf, skin like bark and arms just covered in this like layer of bark like skin. Where the shoulders are, you can see the fringes or the startings of what like little saplings and like branches would be coming off. His hair, just a plumage of leaves that like goes up and then down over his back. His beard, just a thick bed of moss. As he approaches, he nods his head low to you. And so,
Orchid bows. Just a full bow.
you have returned. Anaran
You
has
know
told
this
me.
guy?
You know who I am? I'm honored. Yes, I returned. I'm seeking my sister. I understand that she's been taken by my adopted father further into another port.
You see his eyes glance at you, Art, for a moment, and then back at you, Oak. What are you wishing to accomplish out of this? What is your goal?
Well, I want my sister to live. That's it.
And what would you be willing to do to achieve this goal?
Oh, that's a very good question that I had not deeply considered. I should think about that, but I guess I am here putting everything on the line. There's probably some lines I wouldn't cross. but I haven't. And then she realizes she's kind of rambling and just like bows again, feeling very uncomfortable in, what is sort of the god of this area.
When will you recognize those lines? When will you know not to cross them?
Oh god, I'm just actually sweating over here, like, oh god. I certainly hope I would know when I saw them.
Remember, everything that you have been given has been given because of the bond that you've placed upon yourself, upon those around you. Knowing the limits, whether for good or bad, will allow you to keep those gifts. You stray too far one way or another, and those gifts may not be around for very long.
Oak is like, her mind is working furiously, but she's like, I don't understand. What gifts? What is he talking about? Um, uh, Understood, she said, not understanding.
You're talking very much like another person I know, where it seems like you're saying things that have meanings other than what they mean, and it's very confusing.
You're very astute, small one. You were with the Bard and with Eden, were you not? In my domain.
I don't remember ever meeting you before.
No. But
And I remember most things.
You were spending time with the, what do you call her? A seafling, I think, is what you would phrase it as.
You know
Drinking.
Finara too?
Wait, is
I know
this
all
the time
of you.
you and Finara always talk about the time where you wanted to recreate that drink?
Yes, the fruity drink, that was really
Even
tasty. That was a really
you,
good time.
Corvus. Don't think my roots can't sense you there.
Corvus?
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling. As Corvus is like a short distance away, maintaining a sense of cover, not like a crouched hiding, but more of like a back against the wall, kind of around the corner hiding.
Well, in either case, I believe what I'm trying to say is it may be more beneficial to speak plainly for those of us who struggle with double meanings.
Unfortunately, here in the Fae, you will find that hard to come by.
Why is that?
I feel like you feel a big hand on your head, Art. It's okay.
There are those like me who will tell you the truth. Honestly, though through veiled means. There are those who would use that same veil to lie to you, to trick you, while offering truths. Being able to discern the difference is going to be part of what makes the next steps in your journeys difficult.
So you're saying we need to be able to ascertain between the truth and a truthful lie? That makes no sense.
Logically. No, it doesn't.
Right.
You're right. Well, it does to an extent. If it doesn't to him, that's...
You say something that's true, but it's like a distraction from what's really happening.
So, an irrelevant truth.
Right. Like when I told you that I was raised by elves, and that Elvish was my first language. That was deceptively truthful.
I was wondering about that.
It
But
wasn't a lie, but it really wasn't the truth either.
I see. This is all very confusing.
Gotta learn that stuff. I don't mean to be impertinent, having taken up some of your time already, but
No.
I was just wondering, and then Oak hesitates. Do you know how I ended up here, if I was a lost kid or if, I was given up?
I may. Unfortunately, there are some truths that while I would simply like to tell you, words and oaths and bonds are more important.
Of course. Didn't really expect anything anyway. It's fine. Doesn't really matter.
Wait, they just said that they knew something, and you're accepting no for an answer? I don't understand.
If he made a promise to not tell, he can't tell. It's just how it is.
Corvus does start
Is
to
that what he
approach
said?
tense and mildly aggressive. The goal is to end up just like one step ahead of Oak, just like a step and a half ish at most, towards this individual. Presuming no one stops
Yeah,
Corvus.
guys, it's really okay.
As
It
you
is just-
do, and like Relcath at his height stands like just shy of like 8 feet tall. But as you approach, he shrinks himself down even further, so he meets you eye to eye.
That's weird.
What bond have you made that prevents sharing the truth of someone who seeks understanding of themselves?
A similar bond that Oak is unknowingly following. The path in which she follows, the oaths that she's made, all connect to one place, and that place is here. That is all I will say on that matter.
This is why I have a problem with the Feywild.
It's okay. Really, it doesn't matter.
Are you really happy not getting an answer to your question?
You know, maybe the answer would be worse than not knowing. I don't know the circumstances that brought me here. It's just an impulsive question. I didn't really expect an answer anyway.
Let me ask you this. You just said, maybe happier not knowing. You may be happier knowing. Is ultimately, at the end of the day, finding this information going to give you any enlightenment on top of what you already know or hold in your heart?
Hard to say until I know. If I was given up, I think that would hurt a lot. If I was lost and they were dead for years because of the Fae, that would hurt a lot. If I got to reunite with them, maybe that would be nice. I don't even know what other half I am aside from orc. But, like I said, it doesn't really matter because there are people in my life who love me. Like you two! And I appreciate you guys going to bat for me, but it doesn't, whatever the circumstances, it is what it is. It's probably a distraction right now. I don't need to know now. It might be nice to know someday. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Corvus maintains like this unmoving, just like locked eye. Even if they like look away, Corvus is like, no, you and me, we got beat regardless.
Don't really fathom
Don't.
how not knowing something could ever be beneficial, but if it makes you happy. It would drive me nuts to not know something.
I know. I've had a lot of time to make peace with that I may never know.
Corvus, I don't understand your animosity. What is your grudge? What are you holding in your heart? And why is it against everything?
The astral. Continuously, these beings move our lives like pieces on a board, toying, manipulating our lives, placing us under boundaries and rules and mystical guidelines without giving it a single bit of answer, aid. I wandered lifetimes confused. Eden has lived a life that despite all things finds a purpose to smile. Oak wants to understand their life. Art seeks family. Perrin hopes for the best for everyone else. And I've only heard whispers of what his home is like, what they are facing. Because greater beings look down on what we are, regardless if they are well-intentioned. When we seek guidance, aid, answers to things they have forced on us, and then responds are cyclical, cryptic. If you can't provide answers, then I seek who or what can. Because as it stands, people like you are just obstacles.
He looks at you long and hard for a minute. And what God would put a being on this earth whose sole purpose is to defy them? That is not the work of a god. That is the work of will. You chose your path, just like you chose to sneak out of Oak's room and follow her here. No god put you on that path.
And you willingly choose to deny Oak a simple request, then?
No. No.
And Corvus turns.
Corbett.
Go ahead.
No,
Corvus
well-
just turns.
Besides, course, it's not like I think there might be more information in this response than first meets the eye. After all, if I was just some lost kid, I don't think there'd be so many bonds in the way.
I stand by you, Oak, as I do the others. However, this individual is a slave to someone else, and I refuse to partake further, and walks back towards the current resting space.
Oak will bow to Relgath again. I apologize on behalf of Corvus. He had a very rough transition into the Fae today, and I think maybe the last time something about boots, I don't really know.
I made them better. Well, I have one question.
Yes.
I won't press this further as I wish to respect Oak's wishes, but if they were to change their mind and decide that finding this knowledge was important, would you be able to provide a pathway to accomplish this?
There's a way, yes. You haven't properly asked, is the way I will phrase that. To let your analytical mind work, my young goblin friend.
So what if I understand correctly, a path does exist.
There's a path. I cannot give it to you, because then I would be breaking many things.
I think I understand. That's what I need to know.
As for some closure that I can offer you, what I know of your parents is that, yes, you are half orc. You are also half fae. A child of this realm. Do with that information as you wish.
What? Excuse
And he just turns and fucking walks away at that point.
I think Orchid just sits down, like, half. What?
That
Well, I
could
really
perhaps
didn't see that coming.
That could perhaps explain why you don't remember anything before coming here.
But then. And then. It's just totally speechless. Can't even.
This is certainly a revelation.
Wait, but which side is which? And wait, what if one of the people here is my parent? I mean, he did say that all paths led back to here. That might be a clue. We do not have time for this. Okay, but now I really can't sleep. And then Orchid just starts like marching off to just try and burn off excess energy. Probably kind of fast for Art to keep up with.
Art is frantically scribbling down notes and also making note of any potential changes in the environment over the course of this conversation.
I just realized I'm muted.
I'm gonna hear you.
Oh wait, you guys can hear me. Yeah, no, I turned off my mic in for
Oh no, for the stream.
for the stream. Yeah, I have a way to do it quietly so you don't hear my it's not popping all the time. Yeah. But the one thing I will give you that you notice, Art, is you have taken the time to observe your surroundings rather thoroughly. There's no indication or shape of the sun itself, at least on the horizon. Right? Normally you can see kind of that like half disk as it's beginning, like as it's descending. There's no indication of that anywhere.
So
I'm just gonna use the Feywild as an excuse to fuck with Eddie now.
Okay. There's no indication
Oh,
of the
that'd be-
shape of the sun on the horizon. Got it.
Yeah, that'll be the one observation. Yeah, that you had. There's no like the whole time that it's been setting. There's been no real like as night has fully set in. Nothing on the horizon.
Has there been any sort of adjustment in color though?
Not really. I mean, maybe probably like to a deeper like purple, but it's still light. Like it's still light enough for you all to be able to see and move around and do things as if you normally would under the sun.
Right, but a hue change is a factor, so I am making a note of that.
You all return back to Oak's room, settle in for the night, and get your long rests. Is there any dabbling, Corvus, with your stupid magic, or your stupid magic and ball bearings? Because that will play a factor.
No, I only needed to do one casting of it just to see what the length of an hour feels like. Basically, what Corvus is trying to do is see if like there's a way to see the difference in what an hour of magic here, if it still feels the same, or if like we're interacting with the Feywild differently. Like, is our hour different than the Feywild hour? Kind of thing, just to get a base measurement, or if we've like synchronized, I guess, is like seeing if that just automatically has happened.
I feel like at some point during this experiment, if Art was not present for it the first time, he probably would have requested that you do it once more so that he could observe.
I could do it at least twice. More so, only need to really see what like 10 to 30 minutes is like to see what the difference in time movement is, just for that. However, other than that, the other part of the long rest, other than sleeping, is Corvus is still doing some work on the parchments. Anyone who does notice is Corvus is seemingly cutting into them, almost like making stencils using the parchment and then plying them together to make them dense and thick so that they're usable for stuff.
What are you working on, Corvus?
I haven't done art in quite some time. I haven't created.
What are you creating?
Corvus takes a moment, particularly looking over at Eden, being like, is Eden like a slave kind of thing?
Can I roll a deception check?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I have like a passive insight of like 14, I think. 15.
Okay. Where am I at? Okay. Oh shit, I have a minus. That's a 15.
Corvus
yeah,
is
your passive
only kind
insights.
of,
Yeah, you're 15.
Yeah, it's 15. Oh, I think even with 15, Corvus is like pretty sure Eden's asleep, if not in that light stage of sleep. So like we'll semi-whisper. I am crafting stencils for describing art pieces on some of my gear and also companions, and shows like the first piece done, which is a stencil of a tree that allows like the essence of like spray painting onto. It's a circular stencil that's been like cut, stitched, and seamed together to make the binding to make a graffiti style stencil that would fit on a shield.
Oh wow. This is fascinating. This is so much better than what I did.
It's the same modeling I used for Fanara's crossbow. It's also and then like takes the gauntlet and like for the first time in like I think ever in front, like unclasp part of it and shows the inside. And there's like small stenciled art pieces in there. One of which looks like a bunch of tools with a like a the old school flying masks that people wear. Um, and there's a musical instrument with musical notes that come out of it. That's actually a few bars of a piece. And so on. You notice there's like several of these, at least one that represents each member of the party, plus other ones.
What are all these other ones?
They're the friends that won't remember me, but I can't forget.
From your other lifetimes?
Yes, as they stack and recollection comes, I start to document my friends. So if one day this life happens to just be another memory, I'll be able to remember everyone here. Though I still intend to carry this one like it is my last.
Well, pending any other unusual ceremonies, I don't believe anyone here has any intention of allowing you to pass into another lifetime anytime soon.
I have no doubt in that. Also, and then takes the dagger you gave. I appreciate this gift. I don't think I need the protection any longer.
Well, good. I'm glad to know that you aren't scared anymore.
I'm no longer scared of what I was before, at least.
Well, then it served its purpose.
You have this unbridled optimism that I'm appreciative that you carry.
Well, the way that I see it, everything just has potential, as long as you just find the right application.
My mama would say the same. She spent much of her time believing that every plant that grew in her garden could be used, every piece of it. I'm just, to be honest, I am worried what happens next for us.
Why?
It's not just the Feywild I am worried about. As memories collect and I have spent time speaking with my draconic companion prior to us arriving here. And I believe we are getting close to something that greater beings would rather us not locate, intervene on. Between Oak's heritage and Eden's family.
As you say that, something hits the side of your head. And you
Who,
look
me?
down next to you. No, Corvus.
Oh.
And you look down. You look down to see a folded up paper airplane.
Like takes a moment first, looks at Eden to see if Eden's like awake, and then like looking at Art while kind of opening it, like confusion.
As you open it, written in common, is the script, "Go the fuck to sleep."
Turns it, cuts part of it to add to a stencil that just kind of puts a version of like draconic script, specifically on the musical notes, that creates like a fuck you kind of thing on there to remember specifically that all things I blame Perrin for.
What was that?
A problem for another time, another day, another realm. But we should rest. And I do think Perrin needs as much attention from you the coming days. So pester him with all questions to keep him engaged.
Oh, like what kind of questions?
Exactly.
Oh. Okay, I'll do my best.
I know.
Night.
And Corvus
well,
will
not
finish
night,
stencils and go to
but-
sleep.
Well, night, Cardis.
Sleep takes you all, and you all gain the benefits of a long rest. The morning comes rather abruptly, as there was never really any like dark to settle in. Most of you had a night of tossing and turning, rather groggy, or had to use some sort of blanket or pillow to cover your eyes for most of the evening. But as you wake, the sky is clear. The Grim is running from person to person as they're waking up in your face, giving you little licks on the nose. Going to the next person, crawling up around you. Yes, Art.
When Grim gets to Art, I feel like Dulcara would probably do little noses and give lickies back.
100%. And then the next like 5 minutes is Grim and Dulcar getting the zoomies, and it's hardwood
Yes.
floor, and so all yours the for like 5 minutes straight.
For
But
a
the
brief
sky-
second, just for fun, real quick. For brief seconds, while there are zoomies, Grim's eyes will flash blue, and Grim will run directly across Corvus's face and then go back. And then the eyes will go back to normal.
Corvus will deny the desire to eviscerate this creature.
But yeah, you wake up. The sky, like looking out the window, the sky is clear, blue. The light of day shining through and surrounding the glade around you. And the day is yours.
All right. So just turns to Orchid. What's the plan, boss lady?
I'm boss lady now. Interesting. Okay.
Just the girl with the red hair.
The girl with the red hair?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only girl with red hair I remember was Hyacinth. I don't know if there's a new one, but she was cool. She was my friend. There was like the thing about growing up here is that there are all these like really beautiful elf types, and then there was me, there was Ivy, and we did not look like everybody else, so there were some people who were not always very nice to us, and like Hyacinth was cool. She would tell them off. Sometimes she would pick fights. Again, I'm not positive this is the person you saw. It seems like things haven't changed very much since I left this, so it seems likely.
I was just curious. Facing things.
The plan, though, is
Right, the plan. I mean, if we want to catch
Fighting
a
all
growl
of
bear, I guess we gotta follow him. That being said, so I think some of you were asleep last night, but quick recap. I met Relcat.
Yes, here.
I don't know if he's still here, but he came here last night.
I like him.
And you know, he asked me sort of like big philosophical questions of like what are the lines I would cross for my goal, and what is my goal?
It was very confusing.
But I was thinking about it, and I mean, a line I don't want to cross is to get any of you hurt in helping save her. And it sounds like it's a pretty crazy, dangerous mission. Owlbear is just charging into Is that what I remember? He's just gonna charge right into the Winter Court, or was he going?
So, yes, to quick recap, Relcath. Yeah. So, Ivy is in the Spring Court. Yeah, is in the Spring Court.
Yeah.
They're keeping her in stasis, essentially. Owlbear went there, didn't get the answer he wants, so he said fuck that shit and is one man armying it to the Winter Court. Yeah.
I know we had discussed going directly to the Winter Court. Have we thought about pursuing Spring first?
Might not.
Or is it specifically, or is it that your intention is to stop this owlbear from their fate? If it has not been too long.
Right. Yeah, I would like it if Owlbear didn't die. He's important to me and also to our community, and seems like he's acting surprisingly reckless. I mean, he's not out of character per se, but this seems pretty extreme even for him.
After
Nice.
speaking with Dolus and the things that I have read and the things that I know, this is I just think we should be very clear, and I will try to speak as clearly as I can. This is extremely risky.
Yeah, it is.
I will. This is going to be dangerous for everybody. This is not something we can headstrong through. Looks directly at Corvus and Perrin. This is not something we can. These people play these games. If you hate the games that we played and have dealt with before, the Winter Court will be worse. You must watch your words very carefully. They backstab each other for their own purposes. We are nobody and nothing to them. If we are going to do this, please, I care about all of you. We need to be careful. And if anybody wants to insight check that shit, go for it, because Eden's definitely got a face and we're keeping something held
Obviously.
back.
Anytime Eden says any words, Corvus is always doing insight.
18 insight.
Corvus is like, she's speaking common? Insight.
Yeah, if I can
Other
understand
common?
you, I'm
Also
insight checking.
insight.
Arch is taking this at face value.
You can
that's
Taryn, you can roll either
I rolled a
persuasion
deception.
or
Because I'm
Oh,
hiding.
you-
I'm definitively hiding
Well,
something.
so the way that we're gonna do it moving forward, I actually saw a commentary on this, and I want to address it to everybody, so now we know in the future. Players can demand insight checks for information. The player who is doing the inciting obviously has to roll insight. The person who is doing the deceiving or persuading or whatever can choose between their form of a persuasion or deception. Does not have to tell anybody, including me. That is up to them. I trust you all completely. But you keep that a secret, and then based on whether or not your role loses to their role, then you can reveal whatever information you want to them.
Cool.
And that could be via talking like this or via message.
Yeah,
that
go for it.
that is a 19 for Corvus.
18 and 19.
Anybody? Okay, just that's it.
Everybody else trusts you. That's their
Okay.
mistake.
I don't have any reason to go beyond that.
Perfect.
You need to
Okay.
be careful going to a new place. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I'll message for funsies.
But
Oh.
again, I'm sorry. I hate to repeat myself. What are we doing?
Oh,
Right,
would
I
anybody
don't-
want some pastries? As Enerin like peeks her head into the window with like a tiny ash tray, but like to you guys is normal size.
Just looks.
I
That
just
would be
heard
wonderful.
you guys are finally up, and I figured you could use some breakfast.
That would be
Thank
great.
you.
By the way,
That
where's
smells
Apple? Did
amazing.
Apple move somewhere else?
Oh yeah, we gave her like an adult home. Yeah,
Wait, so she's an adult, but Birch is still a
a
kid?
tree. Yeah, but Apple's also dryad from here.
True.
So, yeah, she ages differently.
Oh,
Time, weird soup.
very strange.
Anyway, I'll
So
be off.
time
If you
can
need
affect
anything,
different
let me
species
know.
differently.
Oh, wait, just real quick. And then Orchid will just duck outside. Enerin, so I talked to Relgath last night. And he said I was half Fae. What? Did you know?
Yep. I had an
Just-
idea. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, do you know which pair? What? I haven't had like a parent around this whole time, right? That.
No. I believe you're. Okay, it's been a while. I think your mom was the orc. Pretty sure. Or they could be. Yeah, that sounds right. Like 90% sure there. It's been a while. And I didn't actually meet them, it's all hearsay.
Huh. Right.
That's why you and Ivy grew at the same rate, because she's technically from here as well. She's a goblin from here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I get, and that's why the three of us were all together. Apple,
Yes.
Ivy, and me.
All the Fae in one roof. Yes.
Why didn't anybody tell me? I thought I was like an elf this whole time, or human.
Because Relkath told us not to, and we listened to Relkath because Relkath is in charge.
Interesting.
You
I
know,
guess
he
we'll have
says
to tell me anything else.
he did the whole cryptic thing when he told us.
Huh. But did Relkath bring me here? Himself?
No, I believe your father did. If my memory serves me correct.
So you know who my father is?
No, I didn't. Again, all hearsay. I didn't actually meet your father. You just kind of showed up, and there were kind of flittering rumors, but not anything. Not anything that I would feel I could tell you with full truth and let you believe. But if Relkath told you, then I can tell you what I know.
Right. Okay. So no rumors that bear repeating?
None. Also, I really just wanted to see the halfling get mad. He's been trying to figure out where you guys have been going for the past, I don't know, half hour at this point. I can hear everything.
That's true. I don't know
Anyway.
where we're going either. How far is it? How
Go,
long?
go. Yeah,
But how long is it to get to the spring court? The head where Ivy is. Is it on the?
The spring court is closer to the winter court. How close, or how much closer depends.
Right,
The lands are constantly shifting, and though I've traversed them frequently in my youth, I haven't very much so now.
I mean, I
Go.
suppose with how big you are, it would be different. Anyway, I should go talk to my friends. And
Yes.
Orchid ducks back in. I don't know. You might have been able to overhear a bunch of that. Let's say for fun you could.
The window's open, so yeah.
Yeah.
So, there are those who can calculate time here.
Oh, good God, Art. Listen, you should be present for this place. I can tell you, after having spent time out of this feeling, this is much more freeing. This is actually just a lot sunnier and better than the one I was in, but I do miss the sensation. I kind of felt like every day I was dying. So, this is rather nice.
When you say it felt like every day you were dying, what do you mean?
It seems to go by so quickly out there, the days and the nights, and they just flip-flop, and everything so negative. That sounds funny coming from where I do, but
And this
just
is
an
something we can
observation.
This is something we can expect when we go there.
No, I mean where y'all are from, the whatever place you want to call it, not the Fae. It's negative. People are so dishonest. I mean, yes, people twist words, but they are not. I don't know. It's strange. I know what to expect of a Fae. I don't know what to expect out of many of the people I have met.
You will have to teach me that, because when we were talking to Relkath, nothing that he was saying made sense.
I'm really sad I missed Relkath. I actually really enjoyed talking to him. He scared the living daylights out of me because he's very powerful, but very kind.
I can
Very
see that.
insightful.
It was very interesting watching him turn it from a tree into an elf.
You can be an elf.
You met him as
apparently.
an elf.
What is it, elf? I thought he was a big ass tree the whole time. Okay, no, we're good.
No, he was in elven form when you guys talked to him.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Needless to say, it was very insightful. Actually, gave me a lot to think about, and it really helped me progress. Actually, upon leaving Hale back in Stupid Town.
I do hope Hale is doing alright.
Where
And
are we
evil-
going?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as Perrin yells that at you all, I'm gonna fuck with Renee again, and that's where we're gonna go on break.
Don't worry,
We'll
be
be
moving
back.
in precisely 1 hour.
We're all about emotional conversations over here.
We'll be
I
back
mean, we
in
said
about.
last time you were here, Perrin. Perrin, you were standing right there when we were talking about where we were going. Talking about dragons and
Where
shit.
do we go now?
We'll be back in about 10 minutes, folks. Go get drinks, do what you need to do. We're gonna do the same, and we'll see you soon.
Now I'll say
I'm gonna
cojones.
die.
Cut. What?
Playing with
Welcome
balls.
back, everybody. So, Perrin, do you want to continue to repeat yourself?
Where are we going?
Baron, were
Guys,
you not listening to the conversation that Corvus went on about, like, yesterday, about how he wants to go to the Winter Court because he thinks it's a good idea to go face to face with the Winter Court for this?
Although it did seem like Oak wanted to go to the Spring Court, but
this is what I'm talking about. You're having this big conversation about I need to go and face off against the Winter Court because I need to go and prove myself, which is what's being said deep down in that. And then there's we want the Spring Court that we could go to because my sister's there, and because I'd really like to see her because it's been a long time, which is the subtext of what's being said there. So I would really love a concerted direction, because ooh.
Right.
Well-
I mean, ideally, we should set out today. So we should.
Okay.
it sounds like there's a time crunch for the Winter Court, though.
I was going to say that ultimately, as this is Oak's sister, and what is like a
You could
parent
call,
figure?
you could say that. Mentor, idol.
Mentor? I get it.
Yeah.
So these are your people. I would say you will know best of how you want to handle your task.
Okay. In my gut, I want to follow Owlbear because if there wasn't a solution in the Spring Court for Ivy, and she's just in a coma, I really don't see what us going there would help. Whereas we have more of a chance to help Owlbear. That being said, this is an incredibly dangerous thing, as you said, and part of me almost doesn't feel like I should be asking you guys to come along at all.
Perrin at this moment, just kind of sticks talk about the whole room, and just kind of goes, "Sorry, I'm sorry, I must have been lost. When I walked with you to Minthfabel, and then went through a tree in Minthfabel to get here to do the thing that you needed your sister, and then it might be that the solution to this situation is going to have to be dangerous. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if everybody else can check me if I'm wrong, but roaming together, as a group, has kind of just necessitated the potential for danger. And if we're here,
I mean, we all kind of came here already, and I believe we've all already assumed the risk. And suffice it to say, with more of us, does that not, at least to some small degree, negate some of the risk or reduce the probability of negative outcome?
I mean, it does. It does.
That all depends, if I'm honest. No, this is important. It depends because depending on how we are perceived, different people may be treated differently in the Winter Court. Oak is a child of spring walking into the Winter Court. I myself...
They just said I was Fae. I mean, it would be
all
weird.
I am... And I am whatever the hell I am. Lirin attempted to overthrow somebody in this court, lest we all forget. This is dangerous, but together I think we are safer. But this is what I'm talking about.
Wait, you said Lirin tried to overthrow someone in the court? In the Spring Court? No, in the Winter Court. Okay.
At least I think that's what I'm picking up on.
And so by your association, guilt by association.
I could be. I just want to Be honest. Because I think that's important if we're going to be together, as Corvus made a big scene of. This is a risk I am willing to take for you. And that is my decision. Where you choose to travel is yours. But if I follow, that is mine.
Yeah, my sister has this habit of apologizing for opening up and saying things, and she'll like I will ask her, "Oh, Finn, what's going on? How are you feeling? Like you look kind of weird." And she'll like and she will explain what she's feeling. And then afterwards, right after she's done, she'll go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have dropped that all on you." If I asked you what's going on, I welcomed whatever results may be. And Perrin like walks up to Oak and just kind of like puts his hand on her knee. I asked you where you wanted to go. You said here. So whatever comes, I have accepted that fate. Does that make sense?
It does. And I mean, it's been such a comparatively short time since we've all known each other, and it just feels like this is a level of danger we haven't confronted yet. And so
okay.
I don't want anyone. I mean, it sounds like you're all on board. I just
when you feel guilty, where
Yeah.
does that live in your body? Like where do you feel it?
like right here in the chest. Like,
Okay,
ugh.
and Perrin will like pull out his leather coin purse, and he just kind of like wiggles his finger, and he literally pokes his hand like right at your chest, and like mimics like grabbing something from your chest, and then like plucks it, and goes here. He like opens his hand, it like over top the open coin purse, and then he like snaps it closed. I'm gonna hold on to that guilt for you. It's mine now. You don't have to feel it anymore.
Right.
If you really want it back, I'll give it to you when we're out of the Feywild. Is that fair?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Right. And then he ties the coin purse back to his belt. So, without out of the way, can we go to the Winter Court? Because it really sounds like that's where we're going.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the way that I see it, I still owe you for helping me.
But I
Plus-
mean, we help each other. I feel like I owe you.
Plus, you know, I'll be honest. I'm in a place I've never been before, and everything here is fascinating. And this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm not going to pass up a chance to get to see the Winter Court.
I look at Eden, who is probably the only person who feels the same weight of this as I have been.
Oh yeah, there's like a definitive like locking moment where like you can absolutely see the fear and kind of like the acceptance of kind of fate. Like there's this just but there's just this definitive look of knowing that this is very scary. But like you can tell Eden is trying her damnedest to put on like this like confident face.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, probably instead of I'm sorry, I'll just say thank you. Let's go ask for some directions.
Maybe, do we have a plan what we're going to do when we get there? Or just winging it?
Why bother?
We'll
Good
just
point.
like jazz.
And then Eden's just gonna start walking out. Like, with what you say, why bother? Eden's like, good point, and just walks out.
I mean, can you really plan for stuff in this realm anyway?
Well,
And on
not
our
only
way
that,
out,
but like
we
whenever
do
we
have a
plan
plan.
things, it never happens. Like it never happens the way it's going to go. Like we say we're going to do something, and then something happens, and it changes the course of the plan anyway. So we may as well just take it as it comes. And then, especially because we're in the Feywild, it's going to be fucking random anyway. So if we just take ourselves out of the equation in terms of the thinking processes of it, by the end of it all, we will have done whatever we may have planned, or we've done exactly the opposite, and we're probably the better for it, if I'm being completely honest.
We can make our best
Also,
preparations and calculations, but you know, yeah, nothing ever
Any
goes
thought,
always according to
Aaron-
plan, except for when you calculate it, right?
Perrin thumbs over to Art, and it really prevents him from having to overthink all the special things like calculations and like the series of designs and things. It's just an easier way for all of us to live, at least for now, eh?
Right. I mean, I think rough sketch, try and catch up to Owlbear. Then we'll go from there.
Step one:
Corvus,
find the
quit
bastard.
lollygagging.
Also, I believe that Perrin spent about 15 minutes trying to get their point across.
with Corvus in the back, arms crossed, just maintaining like the slowest pacing.
In Corvus's head, there's like a really childish sound of bees buzzing. Like, it is the most childish imitation of such, but as Eden will turn and look back and make it super obvious, and then we'll just continue walking forward.
Corvus doesn't acknowledge or respond to it. Just brisk pace.
As we're walking, Art's going to scurry on up to walk alongside Perrin. What was that spell you just cast?
What's better?
You did something where you held up a coin and put it in a bag, and suddenly Oak felt better?
No, this is what we call as a metaphorical action. Effectively, I asked her where she feels things, and I wanted her to get into a mental place where she didn't have to feel guilty anymore, because she really has this habit of holding on to that sensation, and she said she felt it here. So I wanted her to at least have a physical representation of me taking that from her, because that's called bearing a load. There's a whole song I have for you to know what that, understand what that means. But effectively, I put it away for her. I locked it up, and now she doesn't have to worry about feeling guilty, because I kind of told her that feeling guilty while we're here, a little bit pointless. But now we can just kind of move on, continue forward, and she can feel better about it. And when she looks at me and feels guilty, she knows it's in its purse. It's not there.
So you can physically manifest feelings outside of the body?
No, it's like effectively it's like a mental trick. It's not a spell. I did not actually take anything. It's just a way for her to think. It allows her to overcome her mental block, and it's just a conversation. I literally just talked to her.
Well, overcoming a mental block would definitely be a useful tool to have in the arsenal. I'll have to ask you about that sometime.
Sure. Also, it's a little bit more obvious when I'm casting spells, because it's usually a song that comes along with it. That's really where my magic comes from.
I had noticed that, which is why I found it so fascinating that you managed to do it without your usual methods.
Yeah, you should say when I'm doing spoken word is really when people don't recognize that it's happening, because it's the rhythm in which the words are happening, which is where the music kind of it's a whole thing. Slam poetry is a whole nother side of music that I really do not have the time to explain.
It sounds like it's music, but without music.
That's a really loose way to explain it, but yeah, kind of.
Um, I'm so confused. You two never cease to amaze me with the eclectic nature of your interests.
Speaking of which, at some point in time, you still need to tell me about some of those things that you learned, specifically involving the body parts.
Um, well, Bolas specifically, we dismantled the remains of someone, and was explaining the components of how different pieces would be used for different kinds of healing. Um hang on just a second. I'm Wait right here. And Eden's gonna book it after the little girl with the red hair. Like, just wants to get a better look, is like determined to like actually get a clear, because like there's just something nitpicking at the back of Eden's brain that's like, this is too weird because of the memory that she has of the like, why, what do you mean you have to leave? Like, Eden is just very suspicious of the whole situation.
Like you're breaking off from our like marching
Yep.
group. Yeah, Corvus, not even no stealth style, just is blatantly like, you're not going anywhere out here without me watching in this case.
Explained how different components and pieces could be used for different healing. It?
Para just grabs Art by the elbow. Just keep walking. She has the ability to turn into a quadruped. She could catch up if she wants, and he just keeps walking.
So wait, did we walk past the little girl? Like, did we?
That you saw?
Yeah.
Not that you're aware of.
Okay.
Eden has really good perception.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, fair.
Yeah, so Eden is just
Eden,
gonna go.
Eden, you double back really quick. And you can see that she's near one of these, they have spaces where they're like small, like herb gardens. And she's currently sitting on the edge of one, fiddling with a piece of wood.
Hello?
Hi.
What is your name? Orchid, I think Orchid was telling us stories of you.
My name's Kyasin. Who are you?
Hyacinth. My name is Eden.
Oh. Well, hello.
Does she look as familiar, like
Roll a
especially after
history check.
especially after having experienced the vision?
I'll say roll. Give me a history check.
And while doing that, like Corvus is following, but like respectfully, like giving the space for whatever Eden might be doing, but not so much space that Eden can get away or somebody can take it, like trying to be like that bodyguard, respectful boundary level.
That's a 17?
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Well, it's a 5 on the die. But that makes it a 12.
A 12. You you flash back to the scene you had seen previously of this same girl asking, why do you have to leave? And it almost like it rewinds in time as it goes further back. It's the two of you playing outside of your, what you'd assume to be either hers or your house. And The Kai is right. But that's about it. The scene, the two of you are laughing and, throwing a doll around, and next thing you know, you can hear out of your mouth the name Kyliel. And then you come back to.
Do you know the name Kyliel?
No. No, I don't.
And does this look identical or just similar?
Pretty spot on.
Have you ever been to Wife Glen?
Where's that at?
It's
The
outside
here.
of it's outside
Outside
of
of
here.
the. No, I mean, I've been here as far as I can remember.
So you don't remember before now either?
Well, I mean, before now, I was like over by those trees over there, and
No,
I
I
was
mean before living in this place.
no.
Well, anyways, Orchid, or now Oak, was telling us stories about you and said that you are quite feisty. And I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to bring you a gift and tell you that you should keep that up because not many people will stand up for their friends. And Eden will give them the little glass swan that they had bought back at the market from the little old lady. Careful, it's fragile, but it was made by a very sweet person.
Oh, this is really good. It's like I do stuff from time to time, but like nothing like this. This is really good craftsmanship. Thank you.
And Eden will just kind of like slowly start to turn and walk. I think.
Roll a d20. Roll a d20 for me.
That's a 12. Which is my lucky number, I would like to point out. I like that number. I do.
Alright. You turn and walk away.
And then we'll turn into a cat and
And bound to the rest of them. Now,
Yeah.
my question for you, Oak, and the rest of the troop that is following you, where are you heading? Is there any place you wanted to try to stop before you left to the winter port?
The only thing that I kind of wanted was to like maybe see Apple and possibly Kaizen, but she maybe also has in her head like I can come back again maybe in the future. Although that's not that likely. So it might be nice to see Apple, find out what she's calling herself these days. But otherwise she'd probably be heading towards where Enarin usually is to try and get some directions.
Sure. Enarin, you can see, is currently over by the different like orchards that reside on the grounds. Her and a couple of the other Ents are going about and cultivating and growing and essentially just caretaking the land. As you are moving forward, go ahead and give me a quick perception check to look out for Apple.
All right. That is
See if
it's
you
a
can catch her
7.
on the way out. A 7?
Wait, plus 3, 10.
10. Looking around as you make your way over, you don't see any sign of Apple, at least in the immediate vicinity as you're making your way there. But as you approach, you can see several of the other female Ents that live in the glade just kind of nod to you in respect and continue on their way. You see a pair of them like lean over and whisper to each other. You hear Eden and Corvus, one of them say, I don't think that can't be Eden. Or that can't be Oak. She's far too big. And the other one's like, I mean, okay, did you realize we saw her like when she was a kid, right? And the other's like, oh, yeah, you're right. But eventually you find your way to a tree where it's just a sapling, but Enerin is kneeling before it, and you can watch as she's moving and shifting the dirt at the top layer of the ground right around the base of the tree. It looks almost as if it grows a few inches and the trunk gets a little bit wider. And she turns. Oh, hello. Good. You guys are out and about. I take it that you have, and she looks directly at you, Perrin. You have your plan.
She overheard you complain, asking over and over this morning. Yes, we're going after Owlbear, and I was hoping you might be able to send us off with some directions.
Well, the fastest would be a quick trip back to where you came from, to Dandelion and his home, and then from there into the graying. It should be almost a straight shot. You may, if you stick with the graying, if my recollection is good, and you don't want to cut through the Autumn Court, you can work your way around the edges, but it will take significantly longer. But if you choose to dip into the Autumn Court and cut a straight path through, then it should save you some time.
And I wonder what Owlbear did. It seems like if he's already just charging off to the Winter Court, he's probably cutting corners too.
He didn't say which way he was going to take when he told me that he was leaving, at least. If he is as bold and as brash as he sounded, then I am thinking the same as you, though.
Right.
He's suited for fighting. He's suited for taking on the Autumn Court.
Hopefully. I look over at Eden. I imagine traveling with you going through the Autumn Court might have additional risks. We might attract more attention.
If I'm honest, I don't explicitly know. I just know that Liren is associated with Unseelie. But I cannot... Liren and I did not speak of such things. So the clarity on this matter has been purely gained post.
Is that your biggest worry? Is that your biggest concern? And she looks at Eden. She's looking at Eden. Well, she's looking at you when she says this, Oak, but like as she's saying it, she's drifting her gaze over to Eden.
What do you mean, my biggest concern? Is that I might be received poorly?
That you may be received at all.
Possibly. I'm also afraid to risk those I care about. And I'm afraid of what I might learn. I'm afraid of what Liren would say. And I am afraid that one of the three may be lying in wait in one of these places.
Well, I don't know who the three you are or you're referring to, but if you're worried about interacting with the Autumn Court or the Winter Court directly, or having them know about you directly, as uh, you have somewhat of a presence about you, I can do something about that if that's what you wish.
What do you mean?
Um, and you watch as from her finger a small, like, branch begins to form, and as it does, it begins to spiral, almost like like one of those like really gnarly fingernails that curl upon itself, um, until it forms like a multi-banded and starts intertwining and looping in on itself until it forms what looks to be some sort of like ring or bracelet.
What does this do?
I would be giving you a cover. It won't block necessarily your essence from somebody who's standing right in front of you, but from afar, we'll let you go about at least a little bit more masked than you currently are.
What is it masking? Specifically.
Um, the werewolves would call it your scent, but none of us actually not sniff or smell because that's weird. But what you give off, your energy.
Are there what? There's werewolves there, aren't there? We're gonna be dealing with werewolves, aren't we?
Well, there's one pack in the Graying that I know of. There are two in the Autumn Court, and there is a rather gnarly bunch that have been known to pick fights with the Summer Court from the Winter Court.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can take the ring. That's good. It won't interfere with this one, right? So we'll show, like, the one that Eden always wears.
Ooh, what does this... I don't know what that one is.
It was a gift.
Um... I don't know. I mean, if it was a gift, I don't... Here. And she hands, like, she goes to give it to you. Now, you can take it and put it on your arm as a bracelet. You can wear it as a ring. It'll form to how you want it to form.
Okay. Also, the three are the horrible hag people that tried to help raise me. And then Eden will kind of, like, step off to the side, like, next to Oak a little bit.
Okay. Well, so go to Dandelion and then basically
Go to
just
Dandelion's
walk.
house. From there, you can just go straight into the Graying, and where are we? Would be wait until dusk. If you're cutting through the Autumn Court, walk away from... She's like making the motions with her actual hands. Go away from the setting sun.
Right.
You won't be able to find your way during the day. At least by looking at the sky. So pick a direction, straight line, if you're trying to cut through the Autumn Court. That will take you there. Continue straight through. Go through another set of graying, and then you'll be at the Winter Court.
Are all of these grayings connected?
Yes, it's a border of sorts. It goes around each domain. It's like one giant border with spaces in between. We did it so that way, or at least the leaders of the courts convened and said it was safest that way, because in the case of some sort of petty squabble, then the other courts would at least know of their presence prior to entering their court. Stops ambushes.
I see. Shall we then? Are you ready, Oak?
Yeah, I think I am. It was very nice to see you again, Emerin.
And I you. Be safe.
You too. Say hi to everyone I didn't see.
I will pass your well wishes along. She looks up from you, Oak, over to you, Perrin. Relkath was curious about how the performance has been going. He forgot to mention it to Oak last night.
What?
Karen, the deal you made to
You're-
be singing at all
you're-
of the pubs.
Yeah. What about it?
How have your performances been going?
Isn't he like an omnipotent being? Can't he like? Doesn't
Sometimes
he,
he just likes to hear-
Like he knows. Like
I
let's not
mean,
mince words. If if he's asking you, he's doing it because he's a pedantic little shit.
Relkath is one of the kinder ones, Perrin.
I mean,
When he asked, that his tone was that of concern. He knew that he knows that you are going about and singing. How often? Not as much as he would like, but again, that's your choice. You are the one who made the deal. But no, he wanted to just, like, I don't know. He seemed eager to know what's, like, I don't know. Next time you see him, sit and talk
hold
to
on,
him.
hold
I'm
on,
sure
hold
he
on.
is his...
Yeah, no. If he presents himself to me, that's when I'm going to talk to him, because I am not going to be seeking an audience.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm kidding.
The audience seeks me. Thank you very much. However, if you would if you would like to pass something on to him for me, because you'll clearly see him before I do, if he
course.
has a
Perrin?
problem,
Perrin, before you
I'm
make your
not
words.
finished.
I
Oh,
know
it's fine.
this is
If he has a problem with how
please.
frequently I play, and he just like points to everyone behind him, blame these people. Because the lack of attending of inns is the fact of the matter that I have to travel with these folks in order to not get them in trouble. Diverting attention. That's my game. And if I'm not there to be a diversion, they'll get themselves into deep shit. So if I'm not in an inn, or if I don't have the ability to go to an inn, which is the deal, he will recall. He can just say that it's their fault, really.
Hey, Art.
As you say that, a tree next to you that has looks to have mostly ripe apples on it. One of the branches shakes and an apple falls off, and like right into your hands.
Quick question, Art. Remember when we were in Deep Whale?
Mm-hmm.
You remember we went to this store, yes?
Concept.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember that we were presently staying at an inn, correct?
Uh-huh.
And you remember the reason we were not really going to be able to stay at that inn for very long, yes? Was because of that little trip to the store where Perrin shoved a whole bunch of things in a bag and we had to sneak around, and then we had to go stay with Corvus's family, who then had to pay off people.
Right.
Just wanted to remind everybody here of that situation.
Yeah, like I said, diversion.
Perrin.
I am curious. Does this deal still apply here?
That is a good question.
There
There
are
were no
inns in the
specifics.
Feywild, so yes, I would imagine
Or-
so. Even more here. It's more binding here, I would imagine.
Are these inns categorically the same as those in our realm?
What categorizes
Do
an
they
inn?
qualify?
What qualifies as an inn?
Good point.
Is
Well,
it a place of residence in which people can go and stay? Is
was
it
the
a
exact-
jovial?
Oh.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I guess it would depend on the rules of this world seem to be that it's a matter of interpretation of words, but the words can have more than one meaning. Then how do you know whether or not you are adhering to the deal? And then that makes it so that it's possible that maybe you could bend the rules of the deal if you're not clear on what the deal is, and then but then how do you know that you're adhering to the deal, because then it doesn't follow a set line of rules that make it clear when you're actually
She grabs an
following the
She
deal.
grabs an apple from a tree and shoves it into your mouth. It's just
Aaron kind of leans over to Art. I'll know when we get there. Tell him I said thank you for the update. I'll make it up to him.
very well.
Yeah.
And for sake of time, you quickly retrace your steps, leaving the glade, going back to Dandelion's abode. He is currently out and about and not there. However, the fairies that are there do bring you honey and cakes and food, and drink as well. Allow you to stay briefly just to kind of rest and have a quick, lunch. And then you approach and make your way to the graying that you'd found yourself looking at once before. Eden.
I would like to spend at some point time, and I would like to cast Identify on this bracelet thing before, because Eden is very concerned about what this may or may not do. So if you want to send me those deeds, I was just letting you know at some point, especially if we're spending time resting.
I can give it
I
to you.
just-
I don't have there's no official
No,
name to it.
That's fine.
But
I
the
just don't wanna be
properties in
cursed.
which it has. So you're not going to be cursed. However,
Okay.
the jewelry, the piece of jewelry in which you got, has the properties of that of warding.
Okay.
It guards against,
Okay.
from the best of your knowledge, the natural presence that one gives off. It masks it. It's like a cloak in a way. It also makes it so that you can't be scryed upon or seen in any sort of way. So it's like, what is that, mind shielding? Maybe not mind shielding. It's like that other ring as well. I forget what it's called off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Renee.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
His brain's working. He's working on a name. The catch.
Mm-hmm.
It negates the effects of everything that has to do essentially with Lyran, including your ring. To wear this would mean that you are effectively unattuning from the ring in which Lyran gifted you.
Okay.
So the choice is essentially, which one do you fear more? Or which one are you less afraid of, if you want to word it in a positive way?
Yeah, Eden's just gonna stick it in her bag.
Very well.
Like, Eden will spend time looking at it, and then we'll tuck it away. And it's definitely not a fear. It's not so much a fear thing, as it is like Eden stares at the ring and just is just in deep contemplation and just puts it away.
And and to clarify, it's not like a malicious masking where it's like a no,
Yeah.
fuck you, Lyran,
No.
right? It's like she's trying to do what you asked, which was get rid
Yeah.
of the fact that you smell like Lyran.
Yeah.
As the werewolves would say. But
You smell like moth. What does moth
you
smell
smell
like?
mothballs.
No, that's mothballs, not moths.
No.
Anyways,
But you
yeah, no.
soared away, and you all find yourselves walking down the gentle hill that leads to the Grang. As you reach the edge of it, you notice that it's not quite. It's called the Grang for this very kind of dim and kind of grim atmosphere that it holds. But as you draw closer, you can still see the inklings of coloration, like natural colorations that there would be. Uh, the moss, the green moss on the bark of trees. You can see flowers beginning to bud that have this very, very soft, layered, like almost like an orange, gray tone to it. The air is still and quiet. No birds can be heard here. No movement or shifting of the leaves or the trees above you. And as you all look to one another, wait till dusk, and figuring out which way west is, or which way away from the setting sun is, begin to move in a straight line into the gray. And that's where we'll end today. And pick up next time. Thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you for all the I didn't formally say it before, but thank you to, I know Alias was one of them. I think Richard was the one who set that off, maybe, or maybe Alias was, but I know the two of them were responsible for kicking it off. And the rest of you who had the hype train that happened, Renee, I don't know, Taryn.
Yeah.
I think I saw Eddie's name in there. But thank you guys all. You guys are all wonderful people, and we love you dearly. Quickly going to go around the horn and let all of my players tell you where you can find them and all the cool things that they're doing. And we'll start with Eden, with Taryn.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Taryn, also known as Valrook across the socials. I make dice. I am an eldritch entity. Those are things I do. Umbral Oculus Dice, UO_dice on the Instagram. You can catch me right now every Monday over on Modifius Twitch, where I play Sport, a Vault Dweller. That's the first time I've spoiled that. Vault Dweller, that is just a good old golden retriever friendly person. You can catch me here, obviously, on alternating Tuesdays. You can also catch me one Tuesday a month where I am the GM, and I get to GM Logan as a cat. We play Curiosity. It is a Keegan-themed adventure, which is taking place at the exact same time as this campaign, so how is that going to play out? And working on Lior stuff, which is our TTRPG that we've been working on, and it's finally making pretty good progress, I think. I'm working on dice for Emerald Templars. It's still in the process. Oh yeah, and the 4th of July is over, so it's spooky season. So be paying attention to my socials, because yeah, no, it's spooky season. Fuck it all. And so brace yourselves, because at some point I will begin running somewhere, somehow, a horror story that I've been wanting to tell for a long time now. So brace yourselves. It's gonna get fun. That's me. Move away.
I'm so not used to being second. This throws me off entirely. This is unusual for me. Hi, a hearty hello from your local discount bard. Here's my story. A humble vaudevillian vagabond, preposterous polymath, a quirky queer, neurospicy, evoking laughter and cheer, along with a healthy dose of shenanigans. Actor, voice artist, storyteller, full-time silly person, and when I'm not here as my little butterball of a goblin artificer, you can usually find me streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays at twitch.tv/discountbard, where my content is about as unpredictable as my ability to answer a text message in less than 24 hours. You can follow my antics on TikTok and everywhere else on the web at Discount Bard. I'm currently working my way towards TikTok Live, which requires 1,000 followers, so if you aren't already, please give me a follow and help me acquire another platform to start trouble on. I promise, it's good content. Passing it along.
Thank you, Eddie. Hi, everybody. My name is Renee Beauregard. I'm one half of Dragon Rock RPG Design. We are on Facebook and Twitter at Dragon Rock RPG and on Instagram at Dragon Rock RPG Design. We are putting out Paladins very, very soon. So we have the Oath of Wrath, we have the Oath of Whimsy, we have the Oath of the Godless. Those are 3 new paladin subclasses that are coming out very soon that we're very excited for you all to see. Shortly following them will be clerics. Those are also going to be fun. If you want to keep up with things that I'm doing, you can follow here every other Tuesday for Ecriom Expeditions. And then I'll be over on the initiative order, not this Saturday, but on the Saturday following, so Saturday, July 29th, with Mythical Melee Literary Legends, where we will see 4 characters from literary from literary legends such as oh boy, Charles Dickens to Lewis Carroll, come together to find out who is the most who is the literary character who will stand the test of time. And that's going to be fun. It's where I get my friends to fight each other because I like that. Other than that, that's it for me. My job's a bit weird. Lizzie.
Hello, I'm Lizzie Donahue. You can find me on social media at the Lizzie LD. It has been my pleasure to play Orchid tonight, and you can find me here on alternate Tuesdays. This is my home base, and hopefully we'll have a new episode of What's Going On with Hale pretty soon. Maybe. Keep on the lookout. Ask Logan, and then maybe he'll schedule. We'll do that.
Shots fired. I guess that leaves on to me. If you didn't know me by now you do. But just in case, it's Jaden King. You can find me all social media at It's Jaden King. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Smoke Signals, Messenger Pigeon, The Eldritch Entity, Beyond the Void, Whispers in Your Mind, and The Dream Beyond, but not at your local store. Not quite yet. I am working with my partner and girlfriend doing TTRPG University, where we have our special Write Your Own TTRPG course, where we have a bunch of people. We're teaching them how to write adventures that they'll be publishing at the end of the course. We're on week 2 of an amazing experience with a wonderful group of people who are crafting some wonderful stuff, because sometimes you just need a little bit of structure to get things going. You can check out the TTRPGuniversity.com for all of our blogs, posts, information, educating you on all things TTRPG. And if you want to play more games with me, you can follow me over to London once again in April as we're doing D&D in a castle for another round of epic adventuring. We just finished a round before, and we're doing yet another one. And as always, my experiences are very anime, very epic, and my energy is all-consuming. The name King has nothing to do with the castle, but they all have officially admitted that I am truly the king. For many reasons, but it's at a vacation destination for tabletop experience. Do it, enjoy it, check it out, and be inspired. And most of all, thank you all for coming to the wonderful inn in which our tavern keeper has provided storytelling extraordinaire on an expedition of exploration of emotional trauma in many ways that we enjoy. I will now
It's just getting started.
Innkeeper speak. I permit it.
Thank you, my liege.
Yes.
You just
I don't know
conceded
why.
that. You just conceded that.
Listen,
It's hard not
he
to
put
agree
king.
sometimes.
He put king in his name. I can't help it. It's just
Barbo.
comes with the type. I'm sorry, my Barbo.
Still better than Eldritch Entity.
See, I don't even know what that means now. That just means so
At
many
least
things.
I'm present in this realm.
I
But
can
hi,
be anywhere and
everybody.
everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah, Logan, Red Heron on the socials. I'm here. I'll be doing stuff after summer school randomly, whether it's games. I know Baldur's Gate is coming out, so I'm going to definitely do a playthrough of that in August. And then I need to get back on the Leor train, so I'm probably going to do that starting tomorrow. If you like video games, I'm going to be doing a couple Apex tournaments the next couple of days, so I'll post about that, but that's that's not D&D or TTRPG related. So whatever, not that big of a deal. But yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Just looking at the socials. I guess I gotta figure out when we're gonna figure out what's happening with Hale.
What the hell?
Listen, all I'm gonna say is they're like 2 standard deviations away from potentially seeing you guys somewhere, or at least 1 or 2 of them are.
I do need to borrow Hale's spell
Just for the
book for
Halo
no
I just like
reason.
split my personality and play both my characters. I'll cosplay
Uh,
as
We'll see.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, no, thank you guys for all joining. It's always wonderful to see folks come in here, even if they're just hanging out. We love to be one stop on the many adventures that you are traveling on. We're gonna go raid the initiative order. The wonderful Pluto is GMing their Dresden's Fate game, so we're gonna go spread the love over there. Until next time, my friends, stay safe and remember, adventure awaits. Have a good night.
We love you.